for the Q&A, let me just start this off. April, let me start with you. So, in everybody's mind, what are your top stock picks in this upturn and why? Let me just make
Okay.
three lang muna.
Yeah. Well, the two of them were already talked about. Monde and AP. Okay, those two I really like. Then well, a third stock that I kind of like is that wasn't talked about is DNL. Okay, so yeah, I mean DNL is one of the handful of stocks that will be generating profits that are already at par with 2019 levels. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why I like it, and you know, it has a good export business. Reasonable valuation.
Yeah. Reopening din siya.
Reopening, it will also benefit because of it has a food business eh. So at least that particular segment should benefit from the reopening of the economy.
Good. So you have Monde, Aboitiz Power, and DNL all reopening play. Just to follow up, April, also before I let you go, GDP has already been downgraded by the economists, both World Bank and IMF. And inflation rate and interest rates are more or less stable. My question is, what are the major risks do you still see as we are facing this upturn, and how likely will that risk be?
Well, I guess you know, further delays brought about by, you know, another wave of reinfections, no? So I guess that's the major threat, but it's more of causing delays rather than derailing the recovery, which I think should happen if the vaccination process continues to pick up steam. So yeah, we were chatting about this, right? Although the headline number says we've vaccinated 4% of the population, but in the NCR they've vaccinated say 11-12% of the population, which is good, diba? And well, we'll see if they can do 500,000 inoculations a day, because they're saying that we'll be getting like 10 million doses a month, which means that they should actually ramp it up, or else we'll be stuck with so many doses that will probably just expire, no?
Yeah. So at least that should be good. Let me turn a question to Juanis.
Yeah.
What stage are we in? Are we in the bullish stage of the cycle, or are we still in the bearish stage? I know we've already broke out, but they're correcting now. Are we in the bullish or in a bearish stage?
I feel we're in the beginning of a bullish phase. And we began that way back in March last year, after we saw that tumultuous fallout into the market, and we've been into recovery. I wouldn't expect everybody to say the same, and that's what a typical wave one of a bullish market is, the first part. There's a lot of doubt, and because the impact of the bearish wave is still there. So it looks quite squarely where it should be, where that level of doubt is still there, and that's what's causing the hesitancy for things to be able to move on. But given that we're in a wave one of a big bullish wave, we still have a wave two to contend with, which is a corrective wave, and that means that it could really put people to doubt the situation. But I feel quite firm that we are on a recovery wave already, so I'm bullish.
Good. Thank you for that. But as a follow-up now, because you know a lot of our viewers are already heavily invested, Juanis.
Yes.
But most of them, they want to increase their exposure. You mentioned in your report that you may enter into a correction. Question is, which stocks should we really watch out for? Are they among the stronger trending stocks or the laggards? Is that consistent with what you showed earlier?
Yes. I really would stay with the stronger issues. I mean, the stronger issues mean that the volume of the market is heading in their direction.
Okay.
Right? Why is it discounting the rest? We still have to determine. It could be that maybe some of them are still feeling the heavier influences of the pandemic, or perhaps we've not seen enough telltale signs of resurgence from their business, and that's why we have not seen them attempt to be able to get back on the rally horse. And given those conditions, until we do, I would tend to keep my money where I see the fund flows are going, because more likely we'll probably see better upside from there.
On the strong issues, April said Monday, AP, Aboitiz Power, and DNL. You already like Monday and AP. Do you like DNL also?
Oh, I very much like it. If you were to ask me my top three, I'll include that too.
Okay, good. So consistent. All right. Now we have time to get your advanced questions. The first group is the PSE target. So questions were asked by Harry, and related questions of Greg, Joseph, Aldrin, Jericho, Nick, Edel, and Patrick. Thank you very much for those questions. So the question is, what's your aggressive and conservative targets by the end of the year for the PSEi? I think, is that fundamentally based April, or chart-wise, Juanis? What are your takes?
Yeah, so should I start?
Yes, April.
Yeah, I think our bottom-up target is 8,082.83. Well, you might think, wow, that's really aggressive, right? Kasi ano lang yan eh, parang, but I guess it's like, you know, you have a business and your earnings are bad just because there's a pandemic, but doesn't mean, so in terms of PE, that could be that could be expensive. But then again, you know, when the pandemic is over, then, you know, your operations are expected to go back to pre-pandemic levels. So I think, you know, the 8,000 level is actually not that expensive from that respect. But yeah, you want to be conservative. If you use maybe PE ratios, then probably these levels, 6,900, 7,000. I mean, that's like a conservative level.
Yeah, what's a P at 8.2? Is this like about 18 times? Is that right?
Well, because of the EPS downgrades, that's already at 20 times.
Oh,
yeah.
For next year or for this year?
For this year. For next year, we're trading at 15 times.
Oh,
is 2022. Yeah.
That's cheap, no? Yeah. So that's your aggressive target. Is there a conservative target?
At the current level, I think the current level is, I think we're pretty safe. There are questions. Should we go back to 5,000? I don't think so. Should we go back to 6,1? I don't think so. I wrote about it and I said that what has changed the past few months, I think, well, first of all, the vaccinations. Secondly is, although it's slow, we are actually controlling the number of infections. In the NCR level, the infections we had peaked at around 10,500 level. NCR alone. Now we're below 1,000 in NCR. Although, yeah, in other places, you know, it's picking up. So now we're doing 6,000. But, you know, that said, well, as far as the vaccination program is concerned, but they're going to focus on NCR plus 8 regions, which are populous, na madaling kumalat yung COVID. So at least, you know, we're prioritizing those locations. And hopefully that should help control the infections better and allow us to reopen.
Good. One is aggressive and conservative target.
Conservative is, I would say 7.4 to 7.6. Aggressive side would be about 7.9 to 8,200 as April put on.
Okay, good. Next group questions, so that we will have time also for the live questions later. Questions on foreign buying, asked by Sean, also by Glenn, Melston, and James, relatedly. So what are the causes of the market uptrend? Are there foreign investors coming in already? Quickly, just quick questions. Yes or no?
I don't think so.
wala pa.
Kasi ano eh, I mean, yeah, we're recovering. The problem is, you know, foreign investors, they view the market from, they compare, diba? And then in ASEAN, in Asia, we have the least exciting story. Kaya ayaw pa nila. Hindi pa tayo, diba?
Pag mataas na market, then
Yes, that's when they will come back.
yes.
Pag may drama, may kwento, ganyan-ganyan, whatever.
Una na tayo.
Una na tayo.
Panis, ano? What
Well, last time we had this, you guys asked me about the foreign. I thought, don't worry about the foreigners because they're always the last to move. And again, they were the last to sell and at the low, right? Then they were forced to even short and cover their short. So please don't use them as the market moving element. They are usually the last.
Watch them, but don't worry too much about
them. Don't worry about them.
Okay, next group. Okay, one is these are technical indicators. What are the main indicators to use to determine when to sell or buy? Asked by Beverly.
Well, in an upward moving market, the only thing that'll make me sell is if I detect that the market's too frothy or overbought. And you can use an RSI to generate that, or you can either use your MACD crossing down to tell you that there's a temporary sell condition. Another thing that you can use is, I showed the chart earlier where you can see the spread of prices as compared to where the short-term moving average is. If it's too elevated and you see that the distance is already off 5%, that's too much. You want to take some profits first and wait for it to fall back to support before you buy it back. So you can just use those basic indicators for now.
So RSI, MACD, crossovers, and
the spread to the moving average.
Yeah. Good. Thank you for those questions, Aries, and Janelle, and Beverly. Next group, please. Sector outlook. I think you tackled this, Juanis, but in the road to market recovery, what sectors recover first? What sectors follow? Which in those sectors should you enter? Asked by JP.
Yeah, I think the like right now the strong sectors would be those that would benefit from, you know, yung mga reopening plays, which were the laggards before. You will notice, say, the telcos, they're underperforming because they were the resilient place or the pandemic place. So now there's a shift in the bias to the reopening plays, such as the banks, no, and some consumer names, no. The properties seem to be, well, there are reopening play, but they're not as strong. Maybe because if you think about it, yung mga malls will take time, and it's not only because you reopen then people will go back to the malls kasi, di ba, nasanay na mag-online shopping mga tao eh. So baka yun, medyo may ganong angle din, but I wouldn't discount the property companies na walang kwenta. I think eventually it should follow.
Okay, Juanis, which one will go first? And
yeah, well, I agree with what April said. I think she nailed it on the dot. I don't think I have to add anything to that.
Good. Thank you. Next group. Thank you for those questions. Ito, ang dami nagtanong. But I guess the stock recommendation. What stocks are highly recommended to buy at this time? Melover, Rona, Gloria. I guess the answer did na, no?
Yeah, the top stocks, yeah.
Up to Monday, AP, Juanis Power and DNL. Is that right, April?
Yeah.
Okay. So those are the stock recommendations. Now, next group, REITs. Yan, REITs. It's interesting also. New asset class. What can you say about REITs? Status in our country right now, asked by Oscar. April.
Yeah, I think it's a win-win. Good for the property companies and also good for us investors because interest rates are so low. Time deposit rates are below 1%. So you want higher yields, you buy the REITs, right? And then of course for the property companies, it allows them to raise capital for capex, which is also good. Yeah, several companies will be doing their REITs, but the yield of these new REITs are at the 5% level na lang, no longer at the 6%. So yeah, I'm still okay with the REITs, except that I'm not as bullish on them as I used to be when we had a REIT, no? Because yun na nga, medyo, ganyan na lang ang yield. Parang wala. Medyo naging corny na.
Yeah, I have to follow up. If they add more assets, like what a REIT is trying to do, diba? They add more assets to the, they've been transferring, diba? And we're still waiting for the malls. They already transferred what? The Ayala the 30th and Vertis.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
add more malls to it, and what could be the future for a REIT?
Yeah, okay naman, but you know, they're also smart when they transfer those assets in. Mataas din yung presyo. So, oh yeah, although it will bring in an additional increase in the cash dividend, it's not a substantial jump. It's only very small. So for example, right now, the yields that we're getting for is say 5.3%, no? Probably they'll value the asset that they'll buy at 6%. So may konting spread lang. Kasi 'di ba, the way they see it is spreading yan eh, 'di ba? Parang, uy, when I buy an asset, 6% yung yield, tapos yung stock price, 5.6. Eh di may 0.4% spread. Yon, ganun siya. It's not, they don't, remember they buy from their own. So
Yeah,
when they buy from their own, they won't give it to you at 9%, 10%. Walang ganun. The spread is so thin.
okay,
So wala.
kikita rin yung nag-transfer, like si Ali.
Oo,
Huh?
kita din sila.
So what will you
Yes.
buy, Ali or a REIT, if you were given a choice, or will you buy both?
It depends. If you want fixed income, then you buy the REIT. But if you want capital appreciation, then you buy the listed company. I mean, right now, I really like the listed company right now kasi well, the dividend yields are lower, it's more volatile, but you know, the outlook is up. The bias is up. So yeah, I really like the underlying company also very much at this point.
So you like it both eh, yung Ali kanina eh. Kaya lang wala yung A-REIT eh, no? Juanis, do you have a view on that A-REIT?
Yeah, it's actually very strong.
Also?
The people who are holding it, I think, go ahead and just continue to hold it. Anyway, that's the purpose of that company.
Good.
But
Sige.
if I may say, as all these REITs start coming out, my advice to people is choose your top two when these guys are all listed, because I don't think everybody will behave the same way. Right? The ones that have better quality and can produce better yields will more likely keep themselves on the shiny end as compared to the rest. So be scrutinizing when all those things come out.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's the grouping that we did, you know. It's very efficient. Thank you very much for those questions, Oscar, Cecilia, Salvador, Saturnino, Nelson, Anthony, Emmanuel, Manuel, and Kevin. So thank you very much also for answering them. Guys, we'll open the floor now to questions, live questions from the audience. Yeah, there you go. A Zoom question. What's your TA and FA view in the telco sector in the short term, and why do you think it continues to underperform the market? View on Converge. A question from Mark.
Yeah, I can start. I think the fundamental outlook is still good, except that of course, when the economy reopens, if you were fine last year, what kind of a growth can you generate? Diba single digit ka lang eh. Whereas you have, say, the super battered companies that can, say, deliver maybe a 50% growth in profits because they were, diba? So nagka-shift dun tayo sa mga battered stocks that can generate rapid growth. It's more of that rather than anything. But you know, the telcos are still fine. I think you should view them more of a fixed income with a little bit of capital appreciation. And view on Converge, well, the reason why there's a bias for Converge is because it's a pure play on the home broadband, and that's the fast growing segment of the telcos. Yung mobile na yan, medyo mature na yan. Halos wala nang growth.
So you like Converge, April? You like Converge?
Okay naman kami dyan. Oo. At saka yun nga, Converge has this potential to be included also in the index, which is why maybe, you know, it's quite strong.
Yeah. Juanis, do you also like it?
Well, yep, the technicals look quite good. Of course, this recent push up drove it to extremely overbought levels, and maybe in this area, take your profits first, but please buy that stock back, because I agree with April, high growth in terms of the broadband business. Until the other telcos resound, I think right now I'll concentrate on this stock first, while the others are sleeping. If they're really there to unlock the value from maybe one day from GCash or PayMaya, until they even start to talk about those things, maybe they'll still be sleeping for a time. So I think Converge will be the immediate play. So
good.
buy
Thank
that
you.
on rollbacks.
Good. Thank you, guys. Now I have a 7th stock. Kanina 6 yung gusto. Now we add Converge. Thank you. So maybe let's get a few more questions from the audience. What's next there? We still have a bit more time. Which blue chips will recover soon after herd immunity is achieved? From Norman J. Which blue chip? Is that the strong ones, Juanis? Is it the?
If I may, please don't wait for herd immunity. By that time, the stocks would have already gone up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so don't wait for that. I mean,
Yeah.
your measure is if stocks are already responding earlier because they can see the potential recovery or immunity is coming. Don't wait for that situation to happen. You're going to see that recovery much ahead of that. So don't wait too long.
Yeah. So
I think we listed out quite a number of stocks already for them.
Okay, good. So what April said is if we're getting like 500,000 a day, that could be the sign now. Even if we're not yet herd immunity, basta medyo nang 500,000 a day ka na, game na yan.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. Okay. That according to the government, we're going to get 10 million shots a month. We're targeting 70 million. So you do the math, 10 million a month. So you have July, August, September, October, November, December. So that's 60 million.
Yeah.
If they use all of those shots, then tapos na tayo.
Yeah. Okay. Can I ask maybe last parting advice from both of you, from each of you? If you were to like summarize this or last piece of advice to our audience, what do you think is the best opportunity in the next 6 months? April, you want to start?
Best opportunity? Well,
6 months.
It's a good time to buy stocks. Yeah, that's all I can say. Okay, from both from an income perspective, because as I've said, if you go to the bank, you get less than 1%. Okay, so from an income perspective, you have, say, your REITs, no, and then also, let's say, from a capital appreciation potential, you have so many undervalued stocks right now, and with a good upside, and they also give you a little bit of cash dividend. So yeah, I think especially now with the economy looking like it will reopen, and with reasonable valuations, it's a good time to buy stocks.
Buy stocks. Juanis, you agree?
Yep. I wouldn't doubt it.
Good, best opportunity.
And understand we just came from a big market collapse last year, right? Of a pandemic. Finally, we're seeing slow signs of resurgence, although not as fast as what we want to. But by the time you wait for things to be all good and green, things would have gone up already. So I agree with April. Go ahead, take advantage of this correction and go ahead and buy your necessary investments.
Great. Thank you very much, everyone. We hope our audience learned from the insights you shared with us today. We got, 7 good stock picks, diba? And in closing, we heard today that the market looks like it's headed on an uptrend, given that most of the negative news have already been discounted. Second half 2021 seems to be reversing for the better. But like in the past, the market will not move on a straight line. In fact, it seems that we are now entering this corrective phase, as Juanis keeps on telling us. We cannot discount challenges that may come up, like maybe what we didn't discuss today is the problems of maybe supply dislocations from typhoons or even brownouts. And of course, the delays in the vaccination rollout and probably a bit of spike in inflation. But with the opening of the economy and as viewed by our experts today, a buy on dip strategy is a prudent one to take, if you ask me. Market has moved, but I suggest not to chase prices yet. Yeah? Wait for the time. For the quick traders, be watchful of your entry levels and be disciplined about your stop loss prices. Always have a diversified portfolio of good companies, especially the ones that will benefit from this recovery. I now ask myself, is the market really turning for the better? Or are we going to be lured again by this optimism and only to be disappointed? There will be volatility, but we see this as an opportunity to put your money to work and participate in the recovery. There will always be risks, but the economy will recover. The market will recover. It's just a matter of time. Fact is, even if maybe interest rate goes up a bit, it may rise sometime in the future. It may not rise as much anymore. There's so much liquidity in the system, and the major economies are bent on supporting continued economic growth by keeping interest rates low. So the best investment decision you can make now is proper asset allocation. Make appropriate bets as a percent of your total portfolio and be mindful of your exposure. And be selective in your trades. Let not emotions rule your decisions. So, is the market really turning for the better? From what we discussed today, it really looks like it.